Have you ever noticed how some people never apologize? Not when they're wrong, not when they hurt you, not even when the damage is obvious. And the strangest part? They don't always look arrogant. Sometimes they look confident, calm, even respectable. So what's really happening in their mind? Because psychology says this behavior isn't random. It's protection. We're taught that refusing to apologize means someone is rude, immature, or toxic. But psychology paints a more uncomfortable picture. For many people, saying, "I'm sorry," isn't about manners. It's about identity, control, and emotional survival. To them, apologizing feels dangerous. Let's break down why. Apologies feel like loss of power. For some people, apologizing feels like surrender. Not because they don't understand right and wrong, but because their self-worth is fragile. Admitting fault feels like losing status, like shrinking, like opening a door they can't close again. Psychology links this to ego-protective behavior, where maintaining authority feels safer than repairing connection. To them, being wrong feels worse than being distant. Shame avoidance runs the system. Here's the deeper layer most people miss. Some individuals don't avoid apologies because of pride. They avoid them because of shame sensitivity. Shame doesn't say, "I made a mistake." It says, "I am the mistake." So instead of apologizing, they deflect. They minimize. They justify. Because acknowledging harm would trigger an emotional collapse they don't know how to regulate. Apologies feel unsafe due to past conditioning. Many people who never apologize grew up in environments where mistakes were punished, not repaired, where admitting fault led to humiliation, anger, withdrawal of love. So their nervous system learned one rule early: never admit weakness. As adults, that rule stays active even when the threat is no longer real. What looks like stubbornness is often old survival programming. Control matters more than connection. Apologizing requires vulnerability. It means entering a space where the other person gets emotional leverage. For control-oriented personalities, that feels intolerable. So instead of repairing the relationship, they protect their position. Psychology calls this defensive dominance, when control is prioritized over emotional closeness. They'd rather be respected than understood. Some don't see harm the same way you do. Not everyone experiences emotional impact equally. Some people genuinely struggle to register how their actions affect others. They think in logic, not emotional consequence. So when you expect remorse, they feel confused because in their mind, intent matters more than impact. This doesn't make them evil, but it does make emotional repair difficult. The reframe. So when someone never apologizes, it's not always because they don't care. Often, it's because apologizing threatens their identity, their emotional safety, or their sense of control. But here's the truth psychology makes clear. The inability to apologize isn't strength. It's limitation. Because real confidence doesn't fear accountability, and real power doesn't need denial to survive. If this video felt uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone. Subscribe to The Human Circle. We break down the psychology behind behaviors people experience every day but rarely understand. The next video might explain something about your life that you've been carrying without words.